my God, the AI just slam dunked you.
No,
yeah,
what you don't
the
realize
little
is
AI
I'm
prompt
exactly
that you just read off proved you wrong. It proved you wrong.
I'm
The
doing the
AI
same
prompt
thing you're doing.
that you just read off said that he had no time to contest these unverified claims in court because they deported him without giving due process. Oh my God, just like the sweetness of victory, the sweetness of watching a guest slam dunk themselves because you're looking up the information.
He's not
and
a
when
perfect-
you find the facts prove you wrong. That has got to be one of the best things that has ever happened on my live stream. That is like a top 10 best moments ever. Fleetwood Mama, hello. Are you MAGA?
Yes.
You are. Oh, no. Why? Please. Why would you ever support such a train wreck of a president? I mean, truly one of the worst.
Same reason everybody else does, I suppose.
Which is?
He's doing a really good job so far, don't you think?
No, I don't. Why do you think he's doing a good
Why
job
don't you
so
think
far?
that? What has he done that's bad so far?
Well, sure. He has violated the American Constitution 4 or 5 times since his presidency started. He's been checked by the Supreme Court on that with official rulings twice. He told an ABC News reporter that he doesn't even know if he has to uphold the Constitution. He's kind of portrayed 14 of the 14 tenets of fascism. And this big, beautiful bill, which is his big achievement so far in his term, only cuts taxes for the top 20% of income earners. Everybody making under that top 20% actually is going to be paying more effectively in taxes. That source is the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. And of course, this is all right in the back of his call for the termination
Okay, well,
of
let
the
me interrupt you and
Constitution.
say this. Trump has not been found guilty in a court of law violating the Constitution.
Sure he has.
No, he has not. Look it up online. He has not been found guilty in a court of law for violating the Constitution. And please tell me where you find that information.
Would you agree that his administration oversaw the deportation of Abrigo Garcia?
Yes, but you're evading the point here. I'm asking you to find facts where it says that Trump has not been found guilty in a court of law violating the Constitution because he hasn't been found guilty in a court of law.
So the facts are on your screen. Would you like to go ahead and read off this?
You're skirting. You're skirting.
No, I'm not. You asked me to find.
Trump has not been found guilty in a court of law for violating the Constitution.
So let's read.
Correct or incorrect?
Incorrect. Let's read this
no,
together.
That is okay.
So this is a order from the Supreme Court. This is a Supreme Court ruling, a SCOTUS ruling. It says on March 15th, 2025, the United States removed Kilmar Abrego Garcia from the United States to El Salvador, where he's currently being detained in CICOT. The United States acknowledges that Abrego Garcia was subject to a withholding order forbidding his removal to El Salvador, and that the removal to El Salvador was therefore illegal. All right. So this is the Trump administration being found, quote unquote, guilty of violating the Constitution, as it points out the fact that their deportation of Armando Abrego Garcia was illegal in violation of the Constitution.
He has not been found guilty in a court of law for violating the Constitution, Dean. How hard is that to understand?
I just gave you a ruling from SCOTUS.
No, you gave me a paragraph that explained the situation with Garcia, but he was not found guilty in a court of law in the United States for violating the Constitution.
So I don't know,
am I incorrect?
I don't know if you just had your ears closed while I was just speaking. You agreed that his administration was responsible for the deportation of Armando Garcia. And
I'll say it again. Trump has not been found guilty in a court of law for violating the Constitution.
Help me out here. Help me out here. This will be very beneficial. He oversaw Garcia's deportation. SCOTUS ruled that that deportation was illegal.
The president of his own country, where Garcia was from, said he didn't want anything to do with Garcia because he's a criminal.
How does this change the fact that SCOTUS...
Is he or is he not a criminal?
So if we want to continue the SCOTUS...
Is Garcia a criminal or not? Let's just keep going. Is he a criminal or not?
So actually, no. If you want to read...
Okay, he's not a criminal? You're saying he doesn't have a criminal record?
That's also what SCOTUS says. Will you read the last part of the first paragraph?
Can you do research independently on this Garcia character and tell me that he does not have a criminal record?
Ma'am, read the last part of the first paragraph.
No, I'm done reading your little paragraph that's trying to sugarcoat what you're saying and make it real. What I'm saying is he has a criminal record and everybody knows it, and you're saying that he doesn't.
Dude, okay.
So what are you trying to say?
I'm going to go ahead and just mute you so I could read off this ruling from SCOTUS. This is the very last sentence.
You're muting me because you know I'm right and you can't admit it.
No, I'm muting you because you're interrupting me. I'd like to read off the last sentence of the SCOTUS ruling. It says...
Go ahead. Keep up the sugarcoating. Go ahead.
How am I sugarcoating when I'm reading a ruling from the Supreme Court in which has 6 conservative justices outweighing the 3 liberal judges, but they all agreed 9-0 on this unanimous decision? My source is like 6 staunch conservatives, but let's just read off the last sentence. It says, Abrego Garcia responds that he is not a member of MS-13 and that he has lived safely in the United States with his family for a decade and has never been charged with a crime. SCOTUS has said that Armando Abrego Garcia has never been charged with a crime. So who am I supposed to trust? The Supreme Court with 6 conservative judges unanimously ruling I know that he doesn't have a criminal record, or some random brainwashed idiot on my TikTok live? Which one?
Okay, so here's what I found. The Supreme Court did not find former President Donald Trump personally guilty of the deportation of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. However, the court did rule that Trump administration must facilitate his return, acknowledging that the deportation violated prior legal order. So again, he was not found guilty.
Okay, A, you're pivoting. And then B, can we agree that
No, we're talking about the same topic.
So now I was responding to the fact that SCOTUS said he's never had a criminal record in which you contested. Could we agree that when you're found guilty of something in court?
We need to look up the criminal records for him in his country of origin. Have you done that yet? So you're saying that
he has a criminal record in El Salvador?
I'm saying he absolutely has a criminal record, and he also has a criminal record in the United States. If you go prior to 2020, I believe it's in 2019, so he was arrested in a Home Depot parking lot with a group of other guys that were a part of a gang.
He's never been charged with a crime.
He was found guilty kind of by association and taken to court because of that.
So what crime was he charged with?
I'm looking that up as we speak. You can also do the same if you have a brain.
Don't worry, I already did, and I got a ruling from SCOTUS that says he's never been charged with a crime.
No, you keep putting up the same paragraph. That's all you have. Give me something different.
But that paragraph says he's never been charged with a crime, and that's SCOTUS speaking. Why would I need anything better? What can exist that's better?
Because all you have to rely on are talking points from the mainstream media and maybe a little bit of independent research that you do from here and there to make yourself sound better. But the truth is that Donald Trump has not been found guilty in a court of law in the United States for deporting him.
Okay, so first of all...
And the man has a criminal record.
So first of all, a SCOTUS ruling is not a talking point for mainstream media. And second of all, as it relates to Trump being guilty for this, can we agree that if you're found guilty in the court...
Why are you even arguing with me at this point? Because I've been correct on everything I've said.
Can you let me finish speaking, Karen?
My name is Fleetwood, thank you.
I'll call you Karen.
You can be respectful. Don't be disrespectful just because I'm right.
Do you feel like you've been disrespectful towards me?
But this is where your lives go. You get pushed into a corner and felt uncomfortable. You sip off your anxiety pen and then you start insulting your guests.
Do you feel like you've been disrespectful to me by interrupting me every single time?
No, I've just been pointing out facts, which is exactly what you told me to do.
So the only individual that's been pointing out facts in this conversation is me. The reason why I say I'm the only individual that has been pointing out facts is because I've been able to disprove everything you've said with a ruling from the Supreme Court. Now, do not cut me off or I will mute you super fucking quick. I disproved your first claim that Donald Trump has never been found guilty for a constitutional violation by pointing out the fact that his administration illegally deported Kilmar Abrego Garcia, and that was adjudicated by the Supreme Court. Once again, when you're found guilty of something in a court, all that means is that that court has determined that you have done something that's illegal. Well, guess what? The highest court in America determined that his administration illegally deported Garcia. All right. So I'm right and you're wrong. I'm the one with facts. And then insofar as your second claim that he has a criminal history, once again, in that same Supreme Court ruling that is now on your phone screen, once again, this ruling was made by 6 conservative judges, 3 of whom were personally appointed by Trump. Okay. Very clearly points out the fact that he has never been charged with a crime. Now, I know as soon as I stop talking and you start talking, you're just going to reject the facts I just gave you because you're a cult member. But please try to embarrass yourself further by attempting to articulate the crimes in which he has been charged with.
Okay, so I will agree with you on one thing and one thing only. Mr. Garcia does not have a criminal record in the United States. And earlier in the conversation, before you got on your rant, I was able to agree with you on that. But despite this, the Trump administration deported him to El Salvador in March of 2025, right? Citing alleged ties to the MS-13 gang. So these allegations were based on unverified claims such as wearing clothing associated with gang culture, information from confidential informants, et cetera, et cetera. Garcia was not charged or convicted of a crime in the United States, and he was not given the opportunity to contest those allegations in court before his deportation. Right?
Oh my God!
Are you loving that yet?
Oh, I am! I am loving it because you just ChatGPT'd it, but you didn't even think before you read it. Oh my God, the AI just slam fucking dunked you. The AI just slam fucking dunked you.
No,
yeah,
what you don't
the little
realize is
AI
I'm
prompt
exactly-
that you just read off proved you wrong. It proved you wrong.
I'm
The
doing the
AI
same
prompt
thing you're doing.
that you just read off said that he had no time to contest these unverified claims in court because they deported him without giving due process. Dude,
I am doing the
that was
same
so
thing
good.
you are.
That was so good that we're actually going to roll
All
the
of
tape
your
back.
responses are ChatGPT, and how your guests don't realize that yet is insane.
You could see.
But I did the same thing you did.
That's so good. We're going to roll the tape back.
One thing only. Mr. Garcia does not have a criminal record in the United States. And earlier in the conversation, before you got on your rant, I was able to agree with you on that. But despite this, the Trump administration deported him to El Salvador in March of 2025, right? Citing alleged ties to the MS-13 gang. So these allegations were based on unverified claims such as wearing...
Oh my God! Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's go back to playing what you just said. It was just so comedic. It was so comedic.
Not mean he does not have a criminal record in his home country.
Culture, information from confidential informants, et cetera, et cetera. Garcia was not charged or convicted of a crime in the United States, and he was not given the opportunity to contest those allegations in court before his deportation.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Just like the sweetness of victory, the sweetness of watching a guest slam dunk themselves because you're looking up the information.
He's not
and when
perfect.
you find the facts prove you wrong. That has got to be one of the best things that has ever happened on my live stream. That is like a top 10 best moments ever. Go ahead.
Okay. I never disagreed with you that he didn't have a criminal record in the United States, genius. What I was trying to say is that he has one in the country that he's from. So much so that his own president doesn't even want anything to do with him.
So first and foremost, you did argue that he has a criminal history in America.
Why don't you look that up?
1 second. You did argue that he has a criminal history in America. You argued that his criminal history was getting arrested at Home Depot in 2019.
I did not. I never said he had a criminal history in America. I never said that.
So how hard?
That's where you're wrong.
On a scale
So
of,
laugh and scream again and act like you're
on
right.
a scale of 8 to 10, how hard are you trying to gaslight 10,000 people watching?
When you think you're right and you one up someone, you mute them so they can't speak. I think that's hilarious.
I've only muted you since you have a big problem with interruptions.
You brought up the ChatGPT response, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you turn your phone screen around and show everyone the multiple screens in front of you, because one of them is ChatGPT. You're a hypocrite.
Where are my hands?
Turn your phone screen around. Show the other people the other side.
I'm not on a phone, but I actually do have my
Move
phone
the
right
monitor. Show them your screens.
Yeah, for sure. Sounds good.
You can't do that because you know that I'm right.
No, over here we have the YouTube stream. Over there we have the TikTok stream.
Now you're
and
just
over there we have OBS.
You're skirting, Dean. Everybody knows use ChatGPT too. Don't worry. What do you have Grok pulled up to?
Okay, I'm going to disprove you and it's going to be hilarious. Are you ready?
You're not going to disprove me.
Sure I am. Watch
You're
this.
skirting. You're skirting around.
Watch this. Okay.
Go ahead.
Do you know
Change it up before you do.
Do you know what this is? Ma'am, do you know what this is?
Looks like a whoopee to me. A little safety blanket.
It's a blanket. I'm going to put the blanket over my head and then I'm going to put my hands in the air and then I want you to ask me anything about Trump, Biden, Harris, and I will refute whatever you have to say with the blanket over my head and my hands in the air.
What point are you making by doing that, Dean?
Yeah, that I'm not using ChatGPT.
You can be embarrassed. It's
loser.
okay to be embarrassed and called out.
Hey,
just don't hide.
So feel free to go ahead and make a point. I'll refute it with
Go
a blanket
ahead.
over my
What
head.
are you hiding for?
So I'm isolating my eyes and my hands from being able to use any AI technology in order to respond to any point that you may have. The point of this demonstration is to refute your baseless cope and claim that I only use
I'm not
AI
going to
today.
debate with a blanket and someone hiding underneath it. So good luck to your next guest.
Wow, you're running. You're running because you know that I'm about to prove you wrong and you're
juvenile.
scared of the embarrassment. How am I
You're
a juvenile
juvenile.
for willing to do whatever it takes to prove your ass
No,
wrong?
you can't have an intellectual conversation with me.
So
You're
then-
hiding under a blanket
so
because you
then
knew
prove
that
it.
I was right.
Wait, how is me
And I
willing?
called you out for using ChatGPT for half your responses.
So I'm
You haven't
unironically...
said anything semi-intellectual since then.
So then how come you haven't been able to refute anything that I've said? I love it when guests self-dunk by you implying that I am not an intellectual and there's nothing that I've said so far in this conversation that has been smart, even though I've been able to destroy you on every single fucking point is hilarious because how smart does that make you? But seriously, once again, the reason why I put the blanket over my head and I'm willing unwilling to put it back over my head is because you made the claim that I only use AIs like ChatGPT or Grok in order to have these conversations. I want to be able to refute that in real time by putting a blanket over my head and my hands in the air. So how about we do that? How about you do that? I want you to tell me one reason why you think Donald Trump is a good president, and I'm going to tell you why you're wrong with the blanket over my head and the hands in the air.
He's a good president because we have individuals like yourself who try to get on lives and prove that he's not. And then they end up doing asinine things like you're doing right now, like hiding under a blanket to try to prove your point. And everybody's just laughing at you.
So I am yet to hear a real reason that I could refute. Tell me why he's a good president. I'm being serious. I want to prove to you that I don't use AI. Are you scared? I think you're terrified.
No, I'm not asking you a question that requires an AI response, Dean.
So then ask a question that you think would require an AI response. You're scared. You know you're wrong. You know that you're bullshitting. You're scared of asking me a question.
No, I'm not bullshitting. I'm just running out of time.
Then ask me a question that you think would require an AI response.
Why don't you pull the phone out of your lap because you know you're looking at it on your phone?
My phone's on the fucking table, literally right here.
I don't believe you.
Dude, okay, I'll hold the phone in the air. Ask me anything.
Yeah, what about the other 4? You've got 4 or 5.
Oh my fucking God. What about, okay.
Come on.
Okay. How about this? What if I were to look
Dean,
up?
I've got to go.
No, you're running and you're scared.
No, I'm not running.
You're running and you're scared. You're running and you're scared because you know that I'm going to refute you. You're running and you're scared because you know that I'm going to refute you.
It's been a great conversation.
Look at this. I'm going to look up. No. Don't run away. Ask me anything. I'm going to look at the sky.
Do you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior?
Oh my God! Obviously you don't. You've never read You've never read the fucking gospel a day in your life. Yeah, where in the Bible did Jesus say when you get proven wrong, you should be the biggest Karen of all time and start making baseless, false accusations?
I have to go. Take me off your live. I have to go, please.
Wait, why? Why are you unwilling to ask me something that would require an AI response while I have my hands in the air looking at my ceiling?
Well, if you're on later on this evening, we'll catch back up.
It sounds like somebody's running.
No, I have a life. I have other things to do. So,
yeah. What do you have to do? Fucking scroll through Truth Social, Facebook, and Telegram for the next 3 hours?
I'll let the next person put you under a blanket too.
Okay. Well, the only individual who got fucking destroyed in this conversation was you.
Yeah, you keep saying that, but that's not true.
I'll happily keep saying that. And the fact that you think it's not true means that it is true because everything that you believe in is false.
You feel better?
Yeah, I feel great. It was
I got you all worked up. I didn't mean to get you worked up.
I look worked up to you?
You're all sweaty because you had that blanket over your head for so long hiding.
Where do you see sweat at?
Bye. I gotta go.
Get dunked.